Our bodies were not designed to see reality as it really is. They were designed to see food, resources, water, potential mates, and potential dangers. And that is the illusion that most of us live most of our lives. But through closer inspection, we can easily understand how all things are connected. This is why ancient tribes worshipped the sun, because they understood the connection between the sun and all living things on earth. They worshipped the trees and the wind and the soil and the rain for the same reasons. If a table were floating in space and there was nothing around it, we would not know how big it was, if it was right side up or upside down, unless something else was next to it. And this shows us that nothing exists on its own. Everything exists in relation to everything around it. This is to say that these relationships, these connections, are more important than any object itself. Once you put a person next to that table floating in space, we can start to see how big it is. We can start to see if it's right side up or upside down or sideways. And as we put more things, we have an even clearer picture. And everything in the universe behaves this way. There are infinitely small particles that actually have no mass. But when we collide them, we can see how they react with something else. And suddenly it has the traits of mass. And this really kind of encapsulates the theory of relativity, that everything only has behavioral characteristics in relative to the things around it. And the more we understand that things are not how they appear, that the connections, the holistic perspective, and the relationships are what truly bring everything into existence, then an image of oneness can truly emerge. So if we take that table, for example, and we look at where the table is within the table, what is the essence of this table? Is it in the function that you can put a drink on top of it? Or is it in having 4 legs and a surface at the top? Can anything that holds a drink be a table? Can a floor be a table? Does it need legs? Can 3 legs work? What if the table is cut in half? Do we have 2 tables or no table? And eventually what you realize is there is no table within the table. There is no essence of table that exists inherently. It is simply a collection of these parts that humans call a table and use as a table. But that is not what it really is. And we can even experience this when we examine the nature of ourselves. We sometimes think of ourselves as this body and this mind. But does that mean there is a duality within us? Does that mean we're 2 separate entities? Or are we the combination of body and mind? In which case, how can one be divided into 2? And where is the me within myself? We say a person has beautiful hair, but after that person gets a haircut and the hair is lying on the floor, we rarely call it beautiful hair anymore. It's the overall holistic relationship between that person and their hair and the other person who views it, where the beauty comes in. And when we look deeply into anything, we find that nothing at all exists within ourselves or exists independent of anything else. And once we do enough self-examination and realize there is no self to be discovered, there is no physical or non-physical component that can be determined to be the self in and of itself, we can start to see the entire universe in this way. And we can start to recognize the interdependent nature of all phenomena instead of the illusion of inherent existence, as the Buddhists call it. And that inherent existence meaning the illusion that things exist separately and independent of all other phenomena. So simply meditating on this fact that everything we experience is a fictional conceptual framework to understand the world as we were programmed to do, again, for food, avoiding danger, and reproducing as the biological organisms that we are. And we dig deeper and we realize the oneness all around us and that connection, that taking the world in, projecting a worldview back out, creating a oneness within us and around us is a more true way that we can see the world. And it is a unifying, peaceful, as there is nothing that can disturb our peace, since nothing that happens is inherently existing and is merely a mental construct. And from that deep peace is a great joy.